doing this from my phone. I had everything set up on my computer, so I'm pulling it all together right now. But I've got a pretty good memory, I think. So I'll see what I can do here. The month was I don't want to say it was a good month in Fairhaven, although I would like to, statistically speaking. Unfortunately, there were two incidents that I want to cover. There were two homicides. One on July 7th. There was an incident. It was initially reported that there was a shooting in the area of Chapel Street and River. Ultimately, that ended up to be false. The incident occurred somewhere in Fairhaven, though the exact location has not been determined. An individual was shot inside a vehicle. The operator of the vehicle brought the person to the hospital. Unfortunately, that's the person succumbed to their injuries. That was just after noon on July 7th. Through a very speedy diligent investigation, the individual responsible for that was charged and arrested and held on $1 million bond. So that person is still currently incarcerated, awaiting trial for the homicide. So that's an arrest within, I believe it was 48 hours, if not sooner, for that homicide. I'll talk about our other homicide. That incident occurred. I was actually working an overtime shift on the weekend. It was a beautiful Saturday morning on July 15th. Things were going very well in Fairhaven. A dispute came over the radio as a fight amongst a couple of individuals at the intersection of Lloyd and Exchange Street. I was the first one to arrive on scene, and I located the person who ended up being deceased, lying in the roadway. Unfortunately, he succumbed to his injuries. It was determined that he had one stab wound to the chest, of which he succumbed. Our milestone cameras, within 5 minutes, the city cameras had picked up that incident, and we had a suspect description, and officers immediately started looking for the offender. We were able to locate that offender and take him into custody 2 days later at 480 Ferry Street in an apartment there where he was residing. That individual is also being held on a significant bail for that murder as well. And so two tragic incidents occurred in Fairhaven. Two murders within a month is unprecedented. We don't have that very often, thankfully. But what's interesting about both of them is that a lot of our homicides, if you go back, are much longer investigations. They're much more. They take much more time. Honestly, with technology and the community's help, we've been able to speed up a lot of these and get justice for families much sooner than we have historically been able to. Another cluster of incidents that's been concerning over the last couple of weeks were gunfire incidents that occurred. If you Ferry and Peck Street, Ferry and English would be the starting off point, with a number of individuals who are convicted felons and people who we've arrested multiple times who are trafficking narcotics in that area. There have been 4 separate incidents of gunfire in the last 2 weeks, from Ferry Street to Clinton, from Dover to Grafton. And so we've increased patrols in that area. In addition to the incidents that have occurred there, we had a plainclothes unit that was out using our new drone technology, using some new surveillance strategies. We were doing surveillance on a couple of the individuals that were selling narcotics in the area, who we believe are some of the targets of these shooting incidents. Officers were able to see a person do a hand-to-hand drug transaction. They went to stop that individual. He was detained and arrested with 30 bags of crack cocaine on him. A search warrant was conducted at 620 Ferry Street at the same time, and a firearm was located in that investigation. That individual, unfortunately, was released back into the community. He is out. He's been arrested 3 times on similar charges, once in December, once in March, and then just recently, about a week or so ago. A couple of incidents that there's been a couple of crime trends going on that I've talked about, mostly involving one of the bigger trends in the nation over the last year or so is juveniles stealing Kias and Hyundais. I talk about it pretty much almost every meeting, though what's interesting is generally Fairhaven is not victim to these crimes. We don't see them the way that other districts do. And so what was interesting is as a city, we went from, let me take a quick look at the stats real quick. We went from the first and second week of July as a city, there were 24 total motor vehicle thefts. In the third week of July, there were 23 total motor vehicle thefts. In the last week of July, there were 38 total motor vehicle thefts. And so that trend has been increasing, mostly juveniles. One incident, one individual 3 times last week, a 14-year-old male was arrested 3 times in stolen vehicles by the New Haven Police Department. And so we're working on how we can address some of the issues with some of these kids that are out there stealing these cars. In one incident with a stolen car from Madison, our detectives and plainclothes officers were able to use our stop sticks and start chase technology. 4 individuals started running from the vehicle once the tires were deflated. I happened to be in the area at Clinton and Peck Alley when individuals were running through backyards. As I pulled my police car down Peck Alley, there was an individual running towards me with a gun. I jumped out of my police car and chased him. Thankfully, he was a 15-year-old male who threw a firearm as I was chasing behind him. I was able to take him into custody without any other issues. I do that from time to time. Our plainclothes officers are doing this almost every single day. And so I feel like I bring it up so that people are aware of it. But honestly, these things our officers are out there every single day, stopping these cars that are used for a number of different crimes all over. A lot of the times our youth in New Haven are going to other jurisdictions and committing crimes. That vehicle was stolen in Madison and used in robberies in Milford. And so we've been working with all those agencies routinely. Milford Police, Madison Police, other agencies are working with us to share information to apprehend those offenders. And so an incident that touched Fairhaven that is similar to that was last week. There were 3 separate early morning robberies in Fairhaven that were related to one of these stolen vehicles. And so usually these juveniles are doing this in the suburbs, in shopping centers usually. They happened to complete a couple of these robberies in Fairhaven. Again, our plainclothes officers were out. It was early morning hours, around 7 a.m. They were out in the area. They were able to see this vehicle, use our technology on it, and apprehend 3 juveniles that were responsible for that. And so I think there's the bad side of things is that there's juveniles out there completing crimes. The good side of things is that we're using I think very good law enforcement tactics to apprehend the people and try to hold them responsible. We continue to have a presence in the area of Grand and Poplar and Grand and Atwater. We're making arrests out there. I know everyone sees people selling drugs and a lot of people who are suffering from homelessness out there. We continue to have Compass out here on the regular trying to offer services to people who are willing to accept them. And then people who don't accept those services, we are happy to take some enforcement action on them and hope that they change their behavior. I'm sure there's a couple questions out there, but I tried to keep a very busy month pretty brief there. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Lieutenant Fumiati. We are going to give an opportunity for questions. I just want to remind everybody, for those of you who came in late, we have a technical difficulty here at the library, between the library and the computer. That's why we're doing the meeting this way. We're all listening in on a phone, one phone here at the library. So please be patient with us. And I'm going to ask folks, please, unless your question is urgent, this phone is at 50% when we started the meeting. So please, just if you need to know, if not, just contact Lieutenant Fumiati at the number that's on the agenda that you received. With that said, are there any questions?
Yes.
Okay, a question, yes.
My cousin was murdered at the GI package store, North Papagoda, and we haven't heard a word about it. His wife hasn't had a word about it, okay? They've got the individual on tape inside the package store, and I'd like to know what's going on with that. I live around the corner on Houston Street, and I see a lot of what you're talking about, officer. They try to steal a car across the street from me, a Kia. I happen to hear the noise. I open my window, I yelled, and the person, look, I got.
Okay, we're going to focus in. Lieutenant Fumiati, did you hear the request for information on a specific shooting at the GI package store?
I couldn't hear it, but since you said that, Lee, I'm familiar with the incident. There was a homicide that occurred there. The individual who was That was a few months back. I don't have any updates on that, but I can find some. If whoever that is, if you want to get their information, or if they wanted to shoot me a text message or an email, I'd be happy to look into that for them.
Okay. I'm going to tell her the agenda has his phone number. That's his cell phone number. Call him directly so you can talk to him about that. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions online? Maybe you.
Yeah, I see Mary Ann has a question.
Okay.
Mary Ann, you're muted. You're still muted, Mary Ann. Sorry.
Again,
there you go.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mary Ann.
So my question, Lieutenant Fumiati, is people have been asking me if it's safe to go over and work in the English Street Garden because we have beds there. I have beds there for the library. We bring food in every Monday to the library, and people are wondering if it's safe for us to go over there. I've just got a request from somebody right now. Could I come over to the garden and do a class on composting? And I'm just wondering what you think about that. I feel comfortable going over there, but some people feel like maybe we shouldn't be there.
Yeah, so Marianne, that's a really good question. I had a very good conversation with the woman who is in charge of Gather the other day. My advice to her was that you kind of have to go with your gut. I can't really say, honestly, like, so there's two things. One, bullets don't know their intended target. And so it drives me, it keeps me up at night thinking about the number of bullets that are flying around in this city because they don't know their target. And so every single time we can get a gun off the street that could be used to shoot bullets in the city, that is a huge win, I think. That being said, there's still a lot of guns out there. And so in areas where these are targeted incidents, these are individuals who have been involved in crime, they're involved in shootings, they are specifically targeted. And so by and large, usually statistically speaking, innocent victims are not caught in the crossfire of these incidents. However, that's kind of up to everyone's, that's up to your own interpretation on what you feel safe. I don't feel unsafe, but I also wear a bulletproof vest and carry a gun with me all the time, when I'm working. And so it's hard to say. I've increased patrols in that area. We have officers at the area of Ferry and Peck. We're trying to arrest those individuals who would be targeted, who are out there selling narcotics. I kind of had the same conversation with the person who leads up Gather. Generally, early morning hours are safer than late, dark time, 7, 8, 9 in the morning. Statistically speaking, are the safer times in the morning as far as violent crime is concerned. And so we will get the juveniles who are out stealing these cars and shooting. We will get this under control. It just takes some, unfortunately, the criminal justice system is a very slow moving system. And so once we identify the individuals, which we have, then it's taking the appropriate enforcement action, unfortunately, to keep them incarcerated so that they can't perpetrate these acts out there. And so I would say if you're going in the morning, you should be fine. I've had officers out in that area. And so I would say that's the best time if they're doing that. Also, if there's any big events that are occurring, if you want to have extra police presence, I can try my best to have an officer there. So whenever this class is going, I can try my best to have somebody there. I can't make any promises depending upon what's going on in the city.
Okay, that's good. That's what I thought. I have been going at 7 and 8 in the morning when I go there because it's quiet, and you're right, there's not a lot of activity. So I will feel safe going there. And this class, I've got to talk to the guy that's running the diabetes program. I will let you know when the class is going to be, because it would be there, because I got to show them how they're going to prepare their beds to do the composting. But I'll let you know that. Thank you.
I'm going to, in the interest of time, move things along here again. We're having some technical difficulties. It's very hard for people to hear, so I don't want to extend the meeting. If there are any other questions for Lieutenant Fumiati, every agenda you've ever gotten, including tonight, has his phone number, his cell phone number. I suggest that you text him when you're available, and then he'll get back to you as he's available. We're going to move the agenda on to Carmen Mendez from Livable Cities Initiative. Carmen, are you on?
She is here.
Yes,
and also
I am.
we have a forum whenever you.
So Carmen, if you could very briefly go through your agenda, and then after this, I'll check with Adam again regarding our quorum. Go ahead, Carmen.
Sure, no problem. Thank you. So I had mentioned the last time at the last meeting that we were doing mini sweeps. I was doing them with the housing code enforcement officers. We had gone through Ferry Street from beginning to end, and today was a day where we were doing rechecks. And unfortunately, a lot of people have not done what the letter had stated that they should do by the due date. So we have an additional 15 homes that are in violation. They will get a second letter before they get issued a warrant for their arrest. Ferry Street is a very difficult street to get a hold of and get a grip on. We were very disappointed that a lot of the stuff that we had asked to be done had not been done. But we're going to continue to try to force the issue, because Ferry Street is just, it's time for it to get better. And everyone's tired of it not being okay. Additionally, I had mentioned that I was going to start doing work on Lombard Street. We visited 24 houses.
All right, I got it.
On Lombard Street, and we will continue doing, we stopped at Clinton Avenue, and now we'll continue from Lombard to Front in the next week. So we will have those done. And as I said, we will continue to recheck to make sure that things are being done. And we collected also 6.9 tons of loose trash in Fairhaven. That's a lot of illegal dumping. It's just something that we have to get control of over somehow, because it cannot continue to be this way. So we're working very hard to try to help make it a little bit better for everyone. That's my report.
Okay, thank you for the brevity of your report. Are there any questions, first of all, in the room? Any questions? One question in the back. No, you don't have to be sorry, just stand up and.
I live on Houston Street, on either side of where I live, okay? I'm at 69 Houston Street. On either side where I live, I have a vacant house that the grass is starting to be overgrown because the people lost it. And on the other side, I have a house that has like 17 Mexicans. Excuse me, I'm not prejudiced. I'm just saying they live from the bottom floor to the top floor. I don't know if it's legal. I had to call the fire department because they had a grill on the second floor.
We got the point. We got the point.
Yeah.
Carmen, can you
Yes.
Address this briefly? And again, I will remind everyone in the meeting that Carmen's phone number is on here, her cell phone number on the agenda. Please call her directly, but I'll ask her if she can address something or say something to you briefly about this. Go ahead, Carmen.
Yes, I could not hear her whatsoever, so please tell me.
Okay,
exactly
so
69
the
Houston
issue
Street.
is two houses on either side of her house on Houston Street, and your house is
69.
so she's at 69. Is this something that you could we could encourage her to contact you directly to talk about?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Text her at that number.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any
you.
questions online?
Yes,
I
we
see a
have
hand up.
Saf.
Go ahead.
Hi, so I live at the corner of Poplar and Chapel. So like there's I think it's like an auto body shop. I'm not too sure what particular car shop it is, but they tend to like tune cars like at weird hours and usually late in the day. So like when I first moved to the neighborhood a few months ago, it would like start at like 5 o'clock into the night, you know what I'm saying? And it's super loud. Like, I don't know what they're doing where it's super loud like that, but it sounds like just a bunch of race cars going by every 2 seconds, you know? And I was just wondering if there was any regulations or something that could take place with that.
Yes, there is. I actually would like to know the address of that particular, did you say it was a garage?
Yes.
Excuse me,
Hello?
Carmen, that's Rafa's garage. I know him and you know him. Yeah, it's Rafa's garage. We can get an address for that.
Okay.
I know exactly which place she's talking about. Yeah, I'll be in contact with Carmen about that because I know the shop and I know the owner. Is there someone else online? Anyone in the room? No one in the room. Okay, so let's go back for a second to, do we have quorum, Adam?
We do?
Can we get a motion to approve the minutes that you all got, and I hope you got to look
We just
at?
need to make sure that
someone make a
nobody
motion?
has any objections.
Oh, yeah, if you read them, do you have any objections to anything that was in the minutes of last month's meeting? This is to people online as well. I need someone to make a motion to approve the minutes if there's no objection.
Motion to approve the minutes. Michelle Lee
Who
Rodriguez.
is this? Okay.
Michelle Lee Rodriguez, motion to approve the minutes.
Michelle, second, anyone?
David Weinreb, offering a second.
Okay. Great. Yep, we had a second. All in favor signify by raising your hand in the room, if you remember.
Okay, guys,
online.
I'm driving, so I say yes. Me, Michelle Lee Rodriguez.
Yeah, we're good. As long as nobody objects, it passes according to Robert's rules.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So no objection. Okay, but we do have some people that typically abstain. Lieutenant Fumiati does, and anyway, okay, so they pass. That's the important thing. Let's move things along. Okay, so Jawan Carter is here from the Civilian Review Board of the Police, and Jawan is, oh great, we can see you here. Go ahead and speak as loudly as you reasonably can and clearly, because we're all listening to you through one phone.
Yes, can you hear me? How do I sound?
Yeah, like you could be a little bit louder.
Okay, great. Hey everybody, I'm J1 Carter. I represent the Fairhaven district for the CRB. Some updates. We are having a meeting that's going to allow us to rechange or reorganize some of our bylaws. And it's going to be open to the public. So if folks from the community want to see recommendations happen, I advise them to join. It's going to be the 4th Monday of this month. As of right now, what the board has submitted for review would be, we would like to have a quorum that aligns with the city's alders quorum, because what we have done was we set it off at a set number, and that it doesn't work with us. We also would like to review cases that are closed that have only been accessible to the chief of police, and we're able to still review and make recommendations even if it's past the 90 days guideline. We also would like to make a recommendation in regards to making sure that the CRB budget is locked and it cannot be money transferred into another department or spent to another department, so that way we have funds when necessary or whatever you may need. So every 4th Monday, 6 p.m., we meet virtually, or we meet sometimes on the 2nd floor in one of the small meeting rooms where we are able to conduct our meeting. And if the floor is open for the public to ask questions.
So Jaywan, since you're only with us quarterly, for people who aren't normally here or here for the first time, can you give us just 15, 20 seconds of what is the Civilian Review Board? What is it? What is its function?
Great. The Civilian Review Board is pretty much members of the community who represents the 10 districts. And there's also additional members who are at large. And usually the members of the district, they are appointed through the CMT. And we pretty much review cases, civilian cases of complaints that folks may have encountered with the police department. And we make recommendations for training or even up to disciplinary actions.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions for our representative on the Civilian Review Board in the room? I don't see any in the room.
Where is the meeting?
Oh, where are the meetings?
The meetings are at 165 Church Street, City Hall, and it's hybrid. So folks could attend in person or they could attend virtually on a Zoom link.
Okay. Can you?
What time? 6 p.m. Thank you.
Okay. So, Jaywan, if you could put a link to where people can get information, how they can attend in person and via Zoom in the comments, then we'll transfer that to the minutes and then distribute it out to people.
Awesome. I'll
sense?
take care of it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
We have one question online as well.
Go ahead.
Hi, quick question, Jaywan. Good to see you. You had mentioned that one of the things that you're hoping to change is the quorum rules. Did you say to make them aligned with the current city's quorum rules, or to change them to something else? Just so
Yeah, we want to. Yeah, to answer your question, is to make them align with the city's current quorum. Because what we did was, everybody was energized being on a CMT, so we made it a set number. But the energy, as we continued, the attendance rate dropped. So we weren't able to meet quorum all the time to actually vote on important things. So now we're adapting to a moment where we could actually still vote moving forward, even if we have a set number of folks not in attendance.
Okay, but that would be
for that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. Please, on the email, you'll see, on the agenda, if Jaywan Carter's email address, feel free to speak with him directly if you have interest in the Civilian Review Board. Moving along to economic development, Kathleen, are you on?
Yes, hello.
Hello, Kathleen. Please go ahead. We can see you if you're, yep, there you are. Okay, go ahead and give us what information you have.
Okay, 112 Chapel Street. It is a lot behind Art to Frames on River Street. They received an $800,000 grant to remediate the property because they are building a new 10,000 square foot warehouse. So this will serve for loading and parking. So they were on track for their increase in headcount. I don't know off the top of my head where they are right now, but they had all along laid out what their job projections were. So this was part of their plan. So that's some good news that project is going. Because again, it means more jobs.
What that business is? Tell us what that business does.
Art to Frames is custom framing. So you can email, I guess, your images and choose. There's hundreds and hundreds of frames, and they also produce some other kind of like home decoration products. I think anything that can be framed, like mirrors, and other wood and other materials like glass or steel. Anything having to do with framing or for artwork or anything else.
Okay, got it. And so you're saying there might be some opportunities to get employment there?
Yes.
In the near future. Okay, great. What else you got?
Excuse me, the fire on Chapel Street. That building obviously sustained some damage, but it's going to go through a partial demolition. I guess some part of it can be salvaged and whatever use was going on there before could continue. But from what we understand, the building is not being completely demolished.
Okay.
I think that addresses
Anything
93.
Else?
Yeah, Strong School, you may see some contractors out there. It's the city, not the new owner, because they're just doing some patchwork on the roof to protect water infiltration during rain. So that's it. So if you see contractors out there, that's what they're doing.
Yep, and that's 69 Grand Avenue for people that want to know what building. Anything
That's
else?
all I have.
Great. Any questions on economic development projects in Fairhaven? In the room, online? I see nothing in the room. Adam, got anything online?
I see none online now.
Great. Okay, so we're going to keep moving along in the interest of time and in the interest of cell phone. So we're going to jump right to the subsections that we have in our agenda that are broad categories right to the ones that are relevant for tonight. So we're going to go to John from the Connecticut Institute of Resilience and Climate Adaptation to talk about Resilience Fairhaven Project. If you could sit right there, and I know you've got a good, strong voice, so go for it. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Lee. And again, my name is John Trzynski. I work with UConn and a group at UConn that studies climate change called CIRCA. And we have been working with the city and some folks from the neighborhood on this project. And the goal of the project is basically to understand better how climate change is going to impact Fairhaven. And the two primary things that we've been focusing on is flooding, obviously, and then also extreme heat. And so I just wanted to give a quick update. Okay, here's some slides here. You can go to the next slide. I was here back in May, and I showed some of the mapping that we had done, which basically was about, just showing on a map areas of the neighborhood that are flooded now and areas that are going to experience more flooding in the future. And then our team's been doing engagement, just trying every way that we can to try to reach the community and get feedback about how you all are experiencing flooding when it rains a lot or when there's a storm, and then also how you experience extreme heat in the neighborhood. And so we're going to continue to do that type of engagement, and this project is going to run for another 2 or 3 months, at least this stage of the project. You can go to the next slide. So we've been looking at the whole peninsula and the whole neighborhood, and it's kind of hard to see this in the room, but we're trying to break it down a little bit into these different areas of the neighborhood, and each of the areas are going to have a little bit different set of possible options to help fix some of the issues. And so when we do our final report, we'll call out each of these sections of the neighborhood and list out some of the strategies we think might work to help to alleviate some of the flooding and reduce some of the extreme heat impacts. Some examples are, the area around Grand Street, when he crosses the Mill River, that's an area that looks like it's going to flood more frequently in the future and could impact people as they're trying to get out of the neighborhood to evacuate. There's the underpass at Humphrey Street that I'm sure we all know about that. Yeah. Okay. So then there's also.
You can only have one person at a time speaking because of the phone, please. Let John speak.
So there's also the area in the northeast corner around Middletown Avenue that floods quite a bit. So we're trying to break this down into these different sections of the neighborhood and really, give like a set of options. Yes, there's Front Street. There's both the northern part of Front Street, the lower part of Front Street. Then we've got these different lines on the map, which represent, the orange lines represent the bus routes in the neighborhood. So this is the area where we're trying to think about the pedestrian experience of people waiting for the bus and how people are traveling through the neighborhood and whether we could recommend ways to improve the heat reduction along those bus routes. And then the yellow routes these are ways that people access the waterfront. So we're trying to think about how we can improve the cooling capacity and the pedestrian experience for people as they access the waterfront at different parts of the neighborhood. So we're going to have a final report with all of this. We're going to zoom into 2 focus areas in the study. And our team, we have a consultant team that's got expertise in engineering and landscape architecture. They're going to develop some concepts a little bit further. So if you go to the next slide, okay, so these 2 purple boxes are areas where we're going to zoom in a little bit and we're going to develop the concepts further. And if you go to the next slide, I'll just quickly walk through in the interest of time. Right, so this is one of the focus areas where we're going to, further develop the ideas into a concept plan, and we could cover a lot of different aspects of it in terms of, Middletown Avenue, we might be recommending elevating that road, or, trying to install some sort of flood berm or flood wall along the road to stop the flooding. We can look at, if you look at, the area around Lombard and the orange lines, that's an area where we would think about, could we, increase the street tree canopy or other ways to try to cool the corridors for pedestrians. So we'll have kind of a mixture of these different things, focusing on this area. If you go to the next slide. Okay, so this one's a little hard to see because it's tilted, I think because of to just get the whole map on the slide. So, but this is that northeast area around John Murphy Drive, Humphrey Street, down to the Grand Avenue Bridge. So this, again, will have a mixture of these different strategies that will develop further into concepts. So I think what I just wanted to convey was that the development of these concepts, most of the work for that is going to take place over the next month. And what we'd like to do is we'd like to come back to you all in some form, either at the next team meeting, or if there's an opportunity to set up a special meeting to go through this, we're open to that. But what we'd like to do is to come and show in detail some ideas of the concepts, and we will have like renderings and more detail to it, and then really get feedback directly from the community on those things. And then we'll have an opportunity to change things and adjust them. And then our goal is to try to leave the community and the city with materials that you can go get grant funds. The state has money and the federal government has money to try to do these projects right now. And so it's a good time to try to move forward with that if we can. So I think I'll stop there. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
When John says that the federal government has money, the ballpark that we're talking about is $1.9 trillion for climate change and environmental justice. We would be foolish not to take advantage of the technical skill that is being offered to us as a neighborhood and as a city. But we need for people to raise their voice. If they have a question or a concern, raise your voice and make sure it gets into the plan. Christine.
I actually do have a question. So I hear you saying that, like, through these reports, there are moments where you're like trying to engage the community and how they're affected. So what's the platform that you're using? Are you talking about coming here, or is there a separate platform that you're using to actually engage the community so they can ask questions and get more information?
Yeah, so we've tried a couple of different things besides coming to these meetings. We had a table set up at Fairhaven Day where we were able to reach a lot of residents and get feedback, and so we've been looking for those kind of opportunities as they come up, to set up a table and hand out flyers and just talk to people directly. We have also been engaging various departments in the city and doing engagement with the various groups in the city. We also have a website, and we have a community liaison. Sochi Garcia is our community liaison. She's been working with Save the Sound.
What's her name?
Sochi Garcia.
She's a resident of Fairhaven and speaks Spanish, has been involved with environmental issues for a long time here in Fairhaven.
And then we also developed a survey that we tried to distribute through this team and through other avenues to get to people who maybe don't want to come to a meeting, but they want to give us feedback. So there's a bunch of different ways we've been trying to do it, and we'll continue to try to do the best we can with that over the next couple of months.
And we sent that survey out. Yes, yeah.
Any questions in the room? I see a question in the back.
What's your name?
Paul Jacob. Hi, I live from the street across from the Quinnipiac River Park and Quinnipiac River. The park acts as like a natural floodplain. So the condos I live in have been there about 40 years, I guess. And we've never flooded, but water has come into the park and hasn't come across the street. but I couldn't see your maps. Do you show that increasing and coming across the street and into our area? Are they with FEMA maps, or where did you get your information for the increased flooding?
Yeah, sure. So what we do is we have a team that does what's called models, right? So they go and they collect data about the area, and then they're able to create a computer simulation basically of what the future flooding is likely to be. So it's not a, it's not a perfect representation, but it gives us something to go on when we think about, okay, where should we prioritize? What projects might fix this? And so it is forward-looking, unlike the FEMA maps. So the FEMA maps just look at, hey, it flooded during Sandy. This is probably where it's going to flood in the future. That's one of the shortcomings of the FEMA maps, is that they don't project forward into the future. The specific question about that area, are you below Grand Avenue?
Yes.
South?
Yes.
South of
Yes.
Grand Avenue?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So I think that area, from the river.
Yeah.
So that area in particular, I think, gets some flooding of the park and then flooding of Front Street there, but we don't see a lot of flooding of the structures. If you go above Grand Avenue, it's a different story. There's a lot of structures that are subject to flooding. That's, that problem's not going to get better. So
that's in part because you're on the river side. You're on across from the river.
The park acts as a
Right.
Yeah.
floodplain.
So this is exactly what we need to have a longer meeting for, but if someone has like a really urgent or specific question, but we want to have a meeting, go ahead. And then we'll check online.
My name is Snow Turner. To get stuff out with the community, you need to stand in front of two towns and have somebody that speaks English and Spanish and pass them out and make sure that the people understand what you're trying to do and say.
Yeah. Amen to that. We'll talk to John about that. He's heard that one before. Any questions online? Okay, I'm not hearing any online. I will remind people again, this is $1.9 trillion with a T. It's beyond the beef. Okay, so we really need to just apply, but we have to have a plan, and that's where John's organization comes in. So advocate to your neighbors, advocate to your alder, advocate to the city, and attend meetings that we're going to try to organize. We'll have little subsections at our meeting, but we need to have separate meetings where things can be rolled out. And if you want to have a reason to go to these meetings, go to the NOAA website, and NOAA, the National Oceanographic, the people that do the weather and the atmosphere, they do have a map. And they do show the sections of Fairhaven, not your section, Paul, but sections of Fairhaven that will be underwater if there's 2, 3, 5, up to 10 feet of sea level rise. And all of that assumes that that big iceberg down in the South Pole isn't going to fall into the ocean. If that happens, all bets are off. So seriously, we really need to, I don't want to scare the crap out of you, but I want to scare the crap out of you. We really have to do something, folks.
So I just want to put that to the CMT, is that if there's an opportunity for us to schedule a special meeting in early September, if possible, this would be a great time for us to do that.
Okay. Let's put that on the agenda for the executive team to do something in early September, maybe like soon after the management team meeting in September. Thank you very much, John. Really appreciate your time. Okay, so then we're going to ask Sarah Miller to make a presentation in her capacity as staff of Clifford Beers. Go ahead, Sarah.
All right. So I'm wearing two hats here tonight. In addition to being alder for Ward 14, my job is as Director of Strategy for Clifford Beers Community Care Center. And we are putting in a grant to the U.S. Department of Education to facilitate a full-service community school model at Fairhaven School and Stain School. We've created a partnership structure called the Grand Avenue Learning Corridor Partnership. You may remember this because I mentioned it last year. We applied for the grant last year. We got a very high score of 105, and they funded at 106 and above. So we think we're in a very strong position to get it this year. This is a partnership that brings together a lot of organizations that you all know, the library, Junta. The partnership itself is like 14 different organizations, including city departments. And it really involves putting additional staff in the schools to support coordination of resources for children and families in the neighborhood, anchored at the schools, but not limited to the schools. It also involves more dollars for enrichment activities within the schools and outside the schools. So that's what it's about. We have letters of support at this point from the federal delegation, the state delegation, the commissioner of education for the state, the National Teachers Union, Randy Weingard. It's a very broad project with a lot of support, but we want to always keep our focus very, very local too. And so we'd like to ask for the management team to write a letter of support, as you did last year.
So we have Adam, do you have a form for people to vote on a letter of support?
I did email the motion. I don't know if it's helpful for me to read the motion. Yes. Okay. I'm prepared on form.
I'm not here. Adam, can you hear us?
He doesn't know that you're muted. Oh, Adam, you're muted.
Somebody check.
All right, there we go. Sorry, I've been having some technical difficulties. That screen share crashed my whole Zoom, so I had to restart it. Yeah, so yes, there is a form.
And you're on mute again.
Okay, there we go. All right, sorry.
There's a form, you guys. Continue from there is a form.
Yes, so I will pull up a screen share. Hopefully it doesn't crash me again. Share this. So it's just this one question this week. We just need your name to make sure that you're a voting member. And then should we write a letter of support for this USDOE grant? Yes, no, or abstain. I will give this, and Abby will have this for the email that goes out after the meeting. And then also, if you don't do email, you don't want to do web forms, please tell Christina tonight while you're at the meeting. The one waving her hands.
Madam, Christina had a question about the project.
My question is, yes, so you're asking for money from the government, you said to hire additional staff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very broad. So are we talking teachers or talking leadership?
So it's what's called a community school coordinator for each school. So that's somebody to be like the dot connector between all the resources.
Okay.
And also a care coordinator, and that's somebody who would work individually with families to help identify like underlying challenges for them.
So it's a leadership position technically.
No, it's the care coordinator is almost like a case manager.
But it's not staff that's going to be funded. It's not going to be staff that's going to be hired by the
they will be hired by Clifford Beers, but embedded in the school.
Got it. So that's
and we will also facilitate the additional sort of programming dollars in partnership with the school staff.
Is there a dollar amount you're asking for?
So it's $500,000 a year for 5 years.
I agree. I just wasn't sure if New Haven was
and there's
funding, like was this no, this would be New Haven Public Schools.
No, it's in partnership with New Haven Public Schools, but the staff would be Clifford Beer staff. And there's a scale up, so the Fairhaven school would be the first school, and we would add Fame in the 3rd year of the project.
Okay, are there any questions online? While people are thinking of questions, Adam, could you put the link for voting in the chat so people at home can vote now or after the meeting? What I usually do is I open it up and leave it open, and then at the end of the meeting I vote. Then people in the room, you can either vote when you get the message from Abby, or if you prefer not to do that, come up to Christine now at the end of the meeting and tell her your vote. This is only voting members who can vote, and she'll tell you if you're a voting member. Okay, so thank you, Sarah, for that. And then, so now let's go to Kirk. Kirk, take the seat of honor right in front of the phone. And Kirk is here to tell us about what's going on with the library.
Well, it's the library, but I'm going to talk to you about food. and that's because we have a number of food-related ventures going on these days. First of all, if you come here on Monday, our wonderful volunteers from Gather New Haven harvest our gardens in the back because, yes, we have gardens in the back. We have a lot of them. And it's first come, first served, but there's a wide range of veggies and herbs. It depends on what they're harvesting which week. But come in and take what you see that you like. Also, on Mondays, we've been working with Haven's Harvest. Some of you folks may know them. They're the group that is trying to tackle food waste by getting food from places that may be wasted onto people who could use it. We have been getting most Mondays a box full of fresh loaves of bread from Chavasso Bakery right here on James Street that are baking overruns. It's great bread, and like I say, you may be able to pair a loaf of bread with some of the veggies that we have also upstairs. And then finally, the Common Ground Mobile Market, the farmers market, has returned. Returned towards the end of last month. The day has changed. Same market, but it's moved from the Wednesdays that it had been the last few years. Now it's on Tuesdays. And now the word has gotten out, make sure you come early while you can still get some of their produce. But it's 3 to 5 each Tuesday right on our front lawn. And then finally, I wanted to talk about an upcoming kids program on Saturday, August 19th. We're going to have a professional artist named Michael Albert who creates and is going to help kids create artworks from old paper, like cardboard packaging. It's pretty unique, pretty interesting. We have some of his posters of some of his work upstairs. If you care to see those, but we've been saving every cereal box and rice-a-roni box you can think of, so we'll have enough supplies for this. But kids have kids come in. I'm sure kids of older ages could try this too. But that will be Saturday, August 19th at 11 o'clock. And then that's all specifically from the library, but I know we're going to have a guest speaker to talk about some volunteers we're looking at for an upcoming hopeful program here at the library. Thanks.
Before that, any questions in the room or online for Kirk? I see 2 questions.
What time?
Questions.
Kirk,
okay,
what time
we're going to take questions in the room and then online. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, Abby, go ahead.
Yeah, what time on Monday?
When we open.
Oh,
Yeah. It generally, I mean, we get the delivery from Haven's Harvest when we get it, but it's usually within the first hour we're open.
Which is what?
10.
Okay. So between 10 and 11 generally.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Any questions online?
I see none.
Yeah, don't see any questions online here as well. Okay, so now we're gonna ask Nick, who's been so patient and lent us his computer. We weren't able to solve the problem anyway, but Nick, come on up to the hot seat of honor and do your thing.
Yes, hello, y'all. Thank you for having me. My name is Nick Brundage, and I'm here with from the Connecticut Association of Human Services in Hartford, and we work with the VITA program, which is the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. And I've been talking to Kirk, and we've been thinking about bringing that here to the Fairhaven Library. One thing that we need, of course, is buy-in from the community, and having these community events is really wonderful. I will look around Hartford to see if we have something like that set up in my neighborhood. But we need buy-in from the community because we need volunteers. It's a volunteer-run program. CAUSE works with the IRS to train all volunteers, get them prepared, ready for the tax season. And it does a huge service to the community. Last year alone in New Haven County, we helped over 4,000 people. We got over $1 million in earned income tax credit, and that's really what the VITA program is aimed for. It's aimed at working families Folks who earn less than last year, it was $60,000. We returned over $4.5 million in total tax returns and saved over $1 million in tax preparation fees because, of course, it's a free program. We will be ramping up recruitment and training as we get closer to the season and as the tax law gets ratified for next year, which is always a fun thing to wait for. But we hope to have opportunities here for volunteerism and for folks coming in and getting their taxes done for free in a low stress, low impact environment. Some place that they're already comfortable coming to, a place that they feel safe, and make sure that we maximize their returns for them and take care of folks in the neighborhood.
If someone wants to volunteer, Nick, to help the program, how do they do that?
As of right now, you can email me, but we'll have a form that will be sent out. We have a form right on our website where you can come, sign on, give us your availability, let us know what you're interested in doing. There are some positions that come with a small stipend. If you're actually going to run the site, you usually need to have a bit of a tax background to do that. But we can always help. We're working with a couple. We work hand in hand with the United Way to recruit volunteers as well and to train, and they help schedule the appointments. If you've ever seen the big signs that say "Call 211 to get your taxes done," that's the VITA program. So,
if you want to help, 211, 211.com. And is there some other way to reach you?
Your email. It's N Brundage. That's right.
Yeah.
At cause.org.
And you have that?
Oh, CAHS, I'm sorry.
Oh, oh, okay.
Yes.
I just have one.
Please.
What do you want volunteers?
There are many roles for volunteers. We have a greeter role, which is getting folks in, getting them filling out the paperwork. And that's just need to pass standards of conduct test for that. Then we have preparers. You'll go through IRS training through us. We have training in person and virtual opportunities. You can either become a basic or an advanced preparer. And then we have site coordinators, which is basically running the site, and you would be doing quality reviews. Every tax return that comes to VITA gets 2 sets of eyes on it. Your preparer and then someone doing a quality review to ensure everything is within the guidelines and that we're maximizing the refunds for the individual.
Thank you.
Another question in the room, and then we'll go online.
Okay, so I want to be clear about what you're saying. Are we sending the taxes out, or are we just preparing them so that they're technically sending them out on their own?
We prepare them and file them for them on the spot. Yep.
Well, that's
prepared, filed.
That's big.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, I just wasn't sure.
And we work with local. We have cause also has a bank on program where we partner with local banks to create bank accounts that have no overdraft fees. So we have even been able to help individuals open a bank account, file their taxes, and get a direct deposit all within one day.
And this is going to happen during tax season.
Yeah, we'll be open. Hopefully we'll be open here a couple days a week during tax season. Training starts usually in about October.
Any questions online? Adam, I don't see any. Do you see any?
I see none, no.
Okay. Okay, so please keep in mind the information. The first time there was an error in the email, so the last email and then 211. And so thank you very much, Nick, for that information. Okay, so now the question is, are there any announcements? They have to be a minute or less. There has to be an announcement of anything that was not on the agenda in the room. Any announcements? Online, any announcements? Okay, seeing none, then I'm going to go.
Somebody said something. Oh, we got one, Lee.
Hey, hi, Lee. Hi, everyone. This is Michelle Lee Rodriguez. I just wanted to
go ahead, Michelle.
I just want to extend an invitation to the community. NeighborWorks New Horizons will be doing their Impact for Haven 2023 in September 23rd. It starts from 10 to 3. It's going to be at the Quinnipiac River Park. So I just want to extend that invitation. I'll send you guys flyers as soon as we get them started. Thank you.
Send us the information so we can put it in the minutes.
Yes,
Yep.
we'll do.
And as a matter of fact, you can also write something real quick, a place on your website or something on the chat. That would be helpful too. Okay, we're going to go.
We also have one from Dave Weinreb, and then Claudia's got her hand up, but Claudia, you get the whole Alder section, so.
Yeah, we'll bring in Claudia the Alder section. Dave, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Dave Weinreb here at home. I want to let folks know that we've installed a little free library in front of our house because we love libraries and we love books on Perkins Street. But also I wanted to let folks know that we were able to do so for free. There's a program called Impact Free Library that sends you about $500 worth of stuff if you're willing to be a steward of a little free library. So if you wanted to get a library box in front of your house, in the chat, I threw the link where you can submit an application. I'm happy to help people fill out the application. I'm happy to help people install their little free library in front of their house or answer any questions about it if you are interested. But I would love to see more books out and about around our neighborhood. So wanted to share.
Thank you very much for that announcement. Now we're going to go to the Alders. And Claudia, you're first because you're Ward 9. So go for it. Not here.
Hello, everyone. Hold on, please. I'm sorry about that. So I just want to have an announcement just to make you aware.
Claudia, we're listening to you all of us through one cell phone because of the technical difficulty. We can hear you, but just keep it brief and speak slowly. Thank you.
Okay. So I just want to make an announcement. There is a new dispensary that's going to be open in State Street. All of the requirements that were passed will be checked. And I just want to let you know that if any of you that have any questions, you can reach me. I can contact you with the owner that is going to be in charge of that dispensary. Again, it's going to already approve with the zoning. I personally walk in all the area. We went and they sent letters 10 days before to the hearing. The hearing was passed and the permit was done. Right now, I had 2 or 3 neighbors very upset that live in the area. They said they were not notarized, but they did receive the letter. But I just want to let you know that I personally talked with the owner. I know him. I know what kind of job he can do. And that corner is really need a hands up. For decades, the building been abandoned. So again, any of you have any questions, I will be happy to invite David Salinas, and he can give us a whole report, what is the plan that he has to do and what is all the project is going to be. That's all announcement that I have.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate that. We're going to move right to the only other Alder who's here, Alder Miller.
I was just say, we also have a text message from Alder Cupo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Great. So why don't we go to that one first because she's 8. So can someone read that text message?
Yeah. Hopefully everyone in the room can hear me. This is from Alder Ellen Cupo. On Tuesday night, the Legislation Committee of the Board of Alders met to hear a zoning ordinance amendment and a zoning map amendment related to the Long Wharf Responsible Growth Plan. She chairs this committee, and we decided to keep the public hearing open for another meeting, which is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, August 29th at 6 p.m. in Aldermanic Chambers, 165 Church Street. I encourage folks to read through the plan and attend the public hearing at the end of this month. At the meeting, we will also discuss proposed changes to the Civilian Review Board ordinance that Jaywan talked about. Alder Cupo can be reached at Ward 8 at newhavenct.gov, cupo48@gmail.com. She's got a phone number here. We'll get this out into the agenda or the minutes as well.
Okay, thank you very much for that report, and that all this information will be in the minutes. If someone could, well, all of the agendas have all the contact information for all the alders. Alder Miller.
Good evening, everyone. So I have a couple quick updates and announcements. One is, I think this is since the last management team meeting this happened, that we received a state bonding grant to the city for improvements to Quinnipiac River Park. We received a grant for $250,000 to make improvements to the park. We have a lot of issues with the trails, old infrastructure, old benches, not enough spaces for people to gather, etc. So this is something really exciting that we've wanted for a long time. There's a long process of getting the contract finalized and stuff, so the work will actually happen next year. There's a few things that will happen this year, including repair of the fence that's right along Front Street, where you see some sort of like broken pieces and stuff. So that should happen this season. But there will be some much more significant improvements that will happen next season. So we're very excited about that. And Senator Looney and Representative Paolillo were particularly helpful in getting those dollars secured. And also every Thursday, including today, the Quinnipiac River Park Friends Group continues to meet. So they every Thursday from 5 to 7, they plant trees, they plant flowers, they water. So it's a beautification stewardship group that is great to join at any point. I also wanted to mention that there is a partnership that's emerging. You may have seen in the New Haven Independent between the Grand Avenue Special Services District and Town Green, which is the downtown Special Services District, to bring sort of the infrastructure that Town Green already has established to benefit Grand Avenue. So there's a grant that's been submitted to the city economic development. Kathleen, I know you're working on that in some capacity, if she's still there. So this would involve a full-time ambassador like they have downtown for Grand Avenue, as well as a lot of the services that Town Green provides downtown: power washing, graffiti removal, better sort of trash systems, things like that. So there were 2 large grants that were submitted. Not sure if we'll get them, but the partnership is established, and we'll continue to seek dollars to fund that partnership so that we can have those kinds of services on Grand Avenue. One other thing I want to mention to people, if you've driven by the intersection of Ferry and Middletown, you may have seen Carlos Perez on painting a mural that says Fairhaven. It's something that we raised the money for a couple of years ago, and it's just taken a long time for the approvals to come together. But it looks really amazing. The New Haven Register is going to be there to cover tomorrow. It's sort of a trickle of press and stuff, but it's a really wonderful story about Fairhaven. Perez grew up here. He feels very connected here, and he's a very talented artist. So he also did the Black Lives Matter on the street in downtown New Haven. He did, what else did he do? The underpass over by the old Farnham Court on Grand Avenue, sort of close to Worcester Square. He just did some at the Annex baseball field. So he's a real son of Fairhaven, and this is a very positive mural that will be kind of the welcome to our neighborhood in that section. Where is it? At the intersection of Ferry and Middletown. Oh, yeah, it just says Fairhaven, and each letter, the SAIR, has like something in it. There's one that has Fairhaven School, one that has the bridge, one that has pizza, one that has the art. So, yeah, so there's a Coco Helado guys in one of them. So it's just to try to sort of elevate all the different threads of the neighborhood.
And it's huge. It's really big.
The largest mural in New Haven.
So this is 227 feet. It's huge. Is it on the ground or on? It's on the underpass. Oh, the underpass. So if you go around that corner to like go over towards State Street, you can't miss it. I don't know how I missed it. So it gets a ton of traffic because it's right by the highway entrance, right at the intersection with East Rock and Cedar Hill, and et cetera. So definitely go by, honk your horn, take a picture, tag him on social media, give him some love, because he's doing like above and beyond really what we've even paid him for. So yes, so that is very exciting. I also want to let people know that New Haven Heat has ran a free clinic for basketball for young people 4 days a week the whole month of July. We couldn't get it from the school system for August, but it was also really, really successful. Frank was involved in that and some other folks in the neighborhood. And so just want to make people aware of that. We've been really trying to get more free programming for young people in the neighborhood happening. And there'll be a meeting next month to talk about Atwater Center and Atwater Center's role. There'll be an actual design who's going to look at and provide feedback. So there's a lot that we're doing on that front. And just also want to remind people that the primary election is September 12th. Fairhaven always struggles with voter turnout, but it's incredibly important. We can demand more resources here when we get our numbers up. So make sure that you and your neighbors and everybody you know in the neighborhood is registered to vote and planning to vote on September 12th. Well, it depends on what ward you're in. So my website, which is, so you vote at 197 Chatham. But my website, which is ward14.org, has a vote page, /vote. And there's a link there. You put in your address and it will tell you exactly where you go to vote. So if people have any question about it, you can check there, or you can check the registrar of voters or any other.
Or you can go to Google and just type in "where do I vote," and it'll ask you the questions and tell you exactly where you need to go.
Yep.
Okay, thank you for that report. I am not aware of any other alders. There are no other alders in the room. Are there any alders online that would like to report anything?
Say, Ernie knocked on my door in the middle of this meeting.
Okay, so then, okay, so I think Claudia's hand is up from before. So here's the only thing I want to say before we conclude the meeting, and that is November is going to be here quicker than we think. We need for the alders from Fairhaven to come to the meeting in September and tell us that if they're going to do the Thanksgiving event at Atwater Senior Center for the elderly people for Thanksgiving, and if they are, we can begin to recruit people starting in the September meeting and start formulating plans. The management team still has some money that we can contribute, but last year we had a few people contribute out of their own pocket. Let's help the alders, if they're going to do it, if we can, so that there can be a phenomenal, last year 120 elderly people were given a Thanksgiving Day meal and also other things as well. So if that's going to happen, Fairhaven alders, please come and let us know. Okay, so we are at the end of the agenda. No, we have one other quick announcement from Shayla from Junta. Come up, get out of the hot seat. Very quickly, yes.
Very quickly, I'm planning a Junta back to school event on August the 26th, 12 to 4. Last year, our event had 700 attendees. So I think it's going to be more this year. So I'm looking for support. Any way, like donations for the back to school supplies. It could be a drop off, we're Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 at Junta, 169 Grand Avenue. Any kind of like money support or supplies, resources. It's a great opportunity even for our presenters to come in, do surveys, information. I have a link that I could send in if you haven't received one. I'm doing it daily, sending out emails with a link where you could put the information and how you could help and provide information.
Thank you very much for that.
And then did you say the 25th or the 26th?
Go ahead again.
Was that 25th, 2/5, August 2/5 or August 2/6?
2/6. 2/6. Okay, folks online, don't forget to vote at the link that I think Adam put up. If you are not going to vote online, folks in the room, please just tell Christine what your vote is on the proposal from Clipper Beard. May I have from anyone a motion to conclude this meeting? So moved. Second. We have 2 seconds. We're good to go. Thank you very much to everyone.
All right, and thank you for the putting up with our technically challenged meeting this month. We'll work on getting that fixed.
Wait, folks, before everybody goes, there was a point on the agenda that I missed, which is an update on the bylaws. But given what's going on right now, let's just put that on the agenda for September. Is that okay?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, Adam? I apologize for that.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Have a good night. It'll be better next month, I promise.
We'll fix it for next month.
Yeah. All right.
So much good ever making happen. Thank you.
Thank you.